Chosen one, if you are hearing this right now, stop everything. This is not just another video on your feed. This is an appointment from God Himself. It's time for you to stop running and start preparing. Say your goodbyes. The moment has arrived. You didn't click on this by accident. You are here because you have been feeling a shift. For the last few weeks, maybe even months, there has been a heaviness in your spirit that you cannot shake. You try to sleep, but you wake up at odd hours with your mind racing. You try to go about your normal routine, your job, your relationships, your hobbies. But suddenly, things that used to bring you joy now feel empty. They feel flat. It's like you are wearing a coat that is 3 sizes too small, and you are suffocating in your own life. You have been asking God, what is wrong with me? Why am I so anxious? Why am I so restless? I am here to tell you today, it is not anxiety. It is not depression. It is prophecy. Your spirit is reacting to a shift in the atmosphere before your natural eyes can see it. You are unsettled because God is disturbing your peace on purpose. He is making you uncomfortable in your present because He is trying to push you into your future. This is the difference between you and everyone else around you. Look at them. Look at your friends, your co-workers, even some of your family members. They are comfortable. They are happy with the status quo. They can go to the same job for 20 years, complain about the same problems, engage in the same drama, and do it all again on Monday with a smile. They are asleep. They are comfortable in the chaos because they belong to the system. But you are different. You are a chosen one. You cannot settle for good enough. You cannot sit at a table where the conversation is shallow and the vision is small. That irritation you feel when you are around certain people, that isn't you being mean. That is your spirit rejecting an environment that you have outgrown. You are agitated because you are an eagle trying to learn how to fly in a chicken coop, and the walls are closing in on you. God is telling you right now that the lease is up. Every season in your life has an expiration date. When you stay in a house after the lease has expired, you become a trespasser. And when you are trespassing in a season God has already closed, you lose your coverage. You lose the grace that made it easy. That is why everything feels harder right now. That is why there is friction everywhere you turn. God has withdrawn His grace from your yesterday to force you into your tomorrow. You have been trying to fix what is broken. You've been trying to patch up relationships that have died and force doors open that are sealed shut. Stop it. God didn't call you to fix the past. He called you to birth the future. The restlessness you feel is the Holy Spirit packing your bags for you because you were taking too long to do it yourself. This is your wake-up call. You are standing at the edge of a massive transition. The old version of you cannot survive where God is taking you next. You have to let go. You have to be willing to walk away from the known into the unknown. But I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, I feel it, but why is it happening so aggressively? Why does it feel like my whole reality is glitching? There is a specific reason for this intensity. It's not just a feeling. It's a symptom of a spiritual separation that has already happened. You need to understand this next part, or you will mistake your promotion for punishment. The answer lies in a glitch you've been ignoring. Chosen one, pause for a second before we get into the deep revelation. The algorithm didn't bring you here. Your spirit pulled you here. But you know how the enemy works. He loves to sever the connection right when you're about to get your breakthrough. Don't let this word get lost in the noise of your feed. Subscribe right now. Lock in your frequency with this channel so you don't miss the next instruction God is trying to send you. The glitch in the matrix. You no longer fit. Let's talk about this glitch. You know exactly what I am referring to, even if you have never had the words to describe it until now. It is that terrifying moment where you look around your life, your home, your workplace, your circle of friends, and for a split second, you don't recognize any of it. It feels fake. It feels like a simulation. You feel like an actor on a set who suddenly forgot their lines because they realized they are in a movie they no longer want to star in. This usually happens in the most familiar places. You might be sitting at a family dinner or hanging out with friends you have known for 10 years. Everyone is laughing. Everyone is telling the same old stories. Usually, you would join in. You would laugh. You would gossip. You would play your part. But lately, you just sit there. You are physically sitting in the chair, but you are not really there. You hear their voices, but they sound like static interference on a radio. You try to speak, but the words feel heavy and foreign in your mouth. You look at these people you love, and you feel like a complete stranger. You feel invisible in a crowded room. You might even excuse yourself to go to the bathroom just to breathe, looking in the mirror and asking, "What am I even doing here?" This is the glitch. And I need you to understand what is happening spiritually, so you don't think you are losing your mind. You are experiencing a spiritual displacement. Your spirit moves faster than your body. God has already shown your spirit the next chapter. Your spirit has already visited your future. It has walked into the new doors. It has felt the new anointing, and it has tasted the new level of peace. But your body is still stuck in the old season. So you have this glitch where your internal reality no longer matches your external environment. You are a new version of yourself trying to live in an old version of your life. It doesn't fit anymore. It's like trying to play a brand new video game on a console that was built 20 years ago. The system crashes. That is what you are feeling. A system crash. This is why you feel so exhausted after spending just 1 hour with people who used to energize you. Your spirit is working overtime to lower its frequency just to tolerate the conversation. You are shrinking yourself to fit into rooms you have outgrown. Think about an organ transplant. When a doctor puts a new organ into a body, if the match isn't perfect, the body attacks it. The body rejects it. That is what is happening to you. You have been transformed by God. You are the new organ. But you are still trying to function inside the old body of your past life. The environment is rejecting you. The people are rejecting you, not because they are bad, but because you are different. The irritation you feel, the sudden arguments, the feeling of being misunderstood, that is the rejection process. It is painful, yes, but it is necessary. God is allowing this discomfort to push you out. If you felt comfortable, you would never leave. If you felt understood, you would stay in that dead-end place forever. The isolation you feel right now is not depression. It is elevation. God is separating you. He is pulling you away from the crowd because He needs to give you instructions that the crowd cannot hear. You are not lonely. You're being consecrated. I want you to be honest with yourself right now. I want you to stop pretending that everything is normal. I want you to go to the comments right now and answer this. Have you felt the glitch? Have you ever sat in a room full of family or friends and felt like a complete stranger? Type ye, it's if you know this feeling. Let everyone else see that they are not crazy. We are in this together. You know you don't fit. You know the lease is up. You know the glitch is real. So the big question is, why are you still there? Why haven't you packed your bags? It's because even though the glitch is uncomfortable, the unknown is terrifying. You are caught in the struggle between now and next. The struggle between now and next. You know the lease is up. You feel the glitch. You know you don't fit. But here we are, days, weeks, maybe even months later, and you are still standing in the exact same spot. You are paralyzed. You are caught in the brutal tug of war between your now and your next. This is the hardest part of the journey. It is that awkward, painful middle ground where you have mentally checked out, but physically, you are still clocking in. You are still answering the phone calls. You are still sleeping in the bed next to the person you know isn't part of your future. Why do we do this? Why do we stay in situations that drain us dry? It is because the now feels safe. Even if your current situation is toxic, even if it hurts, at least you know what to expect. You know how to navigate the drama. You know the routine. It is familiar, and for many of us, the devil we know feels safer than the angel we don't. We are terrified of the unknown. You are standing at the edge of the cliff, looking at the fog of your future, and you are scared that if you jump, God won't catch you. So you hesitate. You stall. You ask God for one more sign. You say, Lord, just let me get things in order first. But I need you to look at the pattern of God in the Bible. When God calls His people to move, He rarely gives them a 2-week notice. He demands immediate readiness. Look at the Israelites in Exodus 12. They had been slaves in Egypt for generations. When the time finally came for their deliverance, God gave them a very specific instruction that applies to you right now. He told them to eat their Passover meal in haste. He commanded them to eat with their belts fastened, their sandals on their feet, and their staffs in their hands. Think about that. They were eating dinner, but they were dressed for departure. They weren't lounging. They weren't getting comfortable. They were ready to run the second the door opened. God was teaching them a critical lesson. When I say move, you don't have time to get ready. You have to stay ready. Many of you are praying for a door to open, but you are sitting there spiritually barefoot. You are too comfortable in your Egypt. You are asking God to send the elevator down, but you haven't even pressed the button. You are waiting for the condition to be perfect before you step out. But God is waiting for you to step out so He can perfect the condition. You have to understand that God's timing is often sudden. The Bible says, "Suddenly a sound came from heaven." Suddenly, the prison doors opened. Suddenly. That word means without warning. If you aren't wearing your shoes, you will miss the movement. Hesitation is an insult to the open door. When God rips a hole in the atmosphere for you to escape your struggle, and you stand there debating whether or not to go, you are telling God that you trust your fear more than His promise. You are telling God that you prefer the slavery you know over the freedom He is offering. You have to stop negotiating with your exit strategy. The feeling of being torn, that tension, that is your sign that the grace has lifted. The struggle isn't there to destroy you. It is there to frustrate you enough to make you move. But I know it's not just simple fear holding you back. I know there is something deeper. There is a reason you keep looking back over your shoulder. There is a reason you can't seem to walk away completely. It's not just about the place or the job. It's about a person. It's about a connection that feels impossible to sever. You aren't just dealing with fear. You are dealing with a soul tie that you haven't broken yet. The anatomy of a Solon. Tie, why it hurts to leave. Now we have to get real. We have to talk about the hardest part of saying goodbye. It isn't leaving a city, and it isn't quitting a job. Those are just logistics. The real heartbreak, the thing that keeps you awake at night, is leaving people. It is walking away from the friend you've had since childhood, the partner you built a life with, or the family member who raised you. This is where most chosen ones fail the test. You have a heart of gold. You are a helper, a fixer, and a healer. You see the potential in people, not just their reality. You see who they could be, so you stay and fight for them long after they have stopped fighting for themselves. But here is the anatomy of the trap you are in. Because you carry so much light, you naturally attract people who are living in darkness. This is the us versus them reality you cannot ignore. You attract energy vampires, people who are emotionally bankrupt and need a constant withdrawal from your spirit just to function. These people do not love you. They love what you do for them. They love that you are their emergency contact. They love that you are their therapist, their bank, and their prayer warrior. They drain you dry, and when you finally need pouring into, they are nowhere to be found. You think you are being loyal. You think you are being a good Christian or a good friend by staying. But let me tell you what is actually happening in the spirit realm. These people are not just burdens. They are anchors. They are strategic assignments sent by the enemy to keep you grounded. As long as you are tied to them, you cannot rise. You have to understand that your elevation has a strict weight limit. Imagine you are in an elevator going to the penthouse of your destiny. That elevator has a capacity. If you try to squeeze everyone from your past into that small space, the cables will snap and you will all crash. You cannot take everyone with you. It is a mathematical impossibility. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes. Not everyone has the lung capacity to breathe at the level God is taking you. If you bring people who are not acclimated to your altitude, they will suffocate, and in their panic, they will try to pull you down with them. This hurts to hear, I know. You are thinking about that specific person right now. You are thinking, but we have so much history. Listen to me. History is not a reason to mortgage your future. Just because someone was in chapter 1 through 5 of your life does not mean they belong in chapter 6. Some people were scaffolding. They were necessary to help build you up. But once the building is finished, the scaffolding has to come down or it ruins the view. God is cutting these ties not to hurt you, but to save you. He sees the conversations they have about you when you leave the room. He sees the jealousy they hide behind a smile. He is trying to sever the link before they capsize your boat. You have to stop apologizing for your growth. You have to stop feeling guilty for outgrowing people who refuse to grow themselves. It is not pride, it is stewardship. You are protecting the anointing on your life. I want you to get really honest in the comments right now. I want you to face this head on. Who are you carrying that God told you to drop? Who is that one person you know is dead weight, but you keep dragging them along out of guilt? Write it down. Confess it. I am carrying dead weight. Acknowledge it so you can release it. Because if you don't release them voluntarily, God is about to get involved. If you won't walk away, God will start serving eviction notices that you can't ignore. Listen to me closely. I know you are used to fighting these battles by yourself. I know you cry in your car where no one sees you. But why are you choosing to stay isolated when God has led you to a tribe that understands your language? Don't just watch in silence like a stranger. Hit that subscribe button. You have been carrying the weight of the world alone for too long. Let this family carry it with you. You belong here. The eviction notice. Signify test over. If you are still holding on after everything we just discussed, if you are still trying to make it work with people or places that don't fit you, then God has to escalate the situation. He is polite at first. He gives you a nudge. He gives you a feeling. But when you ignore the feeling, God stops being polite and starts getting practical. He serves you a spiritual eviction notice. This is not a metaphor. This is a tangible shift in your reality. An eviction notice means you no longer have the legal spiritual right to occupy that space. The lease is void, and just like a landlord cuts off the utilities to force a tenant out, God begins to cut off the flow of resources, joy and peace in your life. You need to recognize the signs so you don't pray against God's will. You might be binding the devil, but it's actually God blocking the door. The first clear sign on the eviction notice is that the conversation has dried up. Think about the people you used to talk to for hours. You could talk about anything, dreams, goals, life. The connection was effortless, but now it feels like pulling teeth. Every interaction feels forced. You have to manufacture the vibe. You catch yourself fake laughing. You run out of things to say after 5 minutes. That isn't just you growing apart. That is the anointing for that connection lifting. The oil is gone. When the oil is gone, the engine starts to grind. You are trying to drive a relationship with no oil, and that friction you feel is the metal on metal of a dead season. The second sign is that the favor is dried up. This is terrifying for a chosen one because you are used to walking in favor. You are used to things just working out for you. Doors usually open. Mistakes are usually overlooked. But suddenly, nothing works. The strategies that used to make you money are failing. The charm that used to get you out of trouble isn't working. You feel like you are walking through mud. Simple tasks become complex struggles. This is God drying up the brook, just like he did with Elijah. He dries up the water source where you are to force you to move to where he wants you to be. If the favor stayed, you would stay. So he kills the favor to save your destiny. The third and most personal sign is an unexplained deep irritation. You find yourself angry for no reason. You walk into your job or your house or church service and you just feel mad. The way someone chews their gum annoys you. The sound of their voice grates on your nerves. You feel like you are going to snap. This is your spirit having an allergic reaction to the environment. When you develop an allergy to food, your body fights it to get it out. Your spirit is now allergic to your past. That anger isn't a sin, it's a signal. It's your internal alarm system screaming, "Get out." Here is the warning you need to take seriously. Once the eviction notice is served, once the conversations die, the favor leaves and the anger starts. If you choose to stay, you are now trespassing. When you trespass on property you don't own, you have no rights. You have no protection. If you get hurt while trespassing, that is on you. Many of you are under spiritual attack right now. Not because the devil is strong, but because you are standing on territory God told you to evacuate. You are living in a house with no roof, wondering why you are getting wet. You walked out from under your covering when you decided to stay in a season. God expired. You have to move to get your coverage back. You have to leave to get your peace back. But I know human nature. I know that even with the dry conversations, the lack of favor, and the anger, some of you still won't move. You are loyal to a fault. You will endure the misery just to keep the peace. So when the eviction notice doesn't work, God has one final, painful card to play. He stops making it just uncomfortable, and he allows it to get dangerous. He stops blocking the weapon formed against you. Sometimes God doesn't just push you out. Sometimes he allows a betrayal to force you out. The Judas phenomenon, the gift of betrayal. If the eviction notice didn't make you move, God has to use the nuclear option. He has to break your heart to save your life. This brings us to the most painful, yet most necessary part of your transition, the gift of betrayal. I call it a gift, but I know it doesn't feel like one right now. It feels like a knife in your back. You're sitting there replaying the scenario over and over again. You are asking, how could they do this to me? After everything I did for them, after all the times I covered for them, paid for them, and prayed for them. You are confused because you are a loyal person. Loyalty is your love language. You would never dream of doing to them what they did to you. And that is exactly the problem. Your loyalty has become a liability. You are so loyal to people that you are staying in situations that are killing your destiny. You are so committed to the relationship that you would have stayed on that sinking ship until you drowned. So God had to make the ship sink. He had to allow a Judas to kiss you. We often look at Judas as the villain of the Bible. But if you look at it through the lens of destiny, Judas was essential. Without the betrayal of Judas, there is no cross. Without the cross, there is no resurrection. Without the resurrection, there is no salvation. Jesus needed Judas to transition from being a rabbi to being the Savior. Judas was not just an enemy, he was an elevator. God allowed that person to betray you because it was the only way to get you to let go. You wouldn't have left if they had remained nice. You wouldn't have walked away if they had just been okay. God had to allow them to show you a side of themselves that was so ugly, so disrespectful, and so undeniable that you had no choice but to pack your bags. That lie they told about you, that rumor they spread, the way they turned their back on you when you needed them most, that was God severing the tie. That was God burning the bridge so you couldn't run back across it in a moment of weakness. If you have been stabbed in the back recently, I need you to stop crying and start rejoicing. I am serious. Wipe your face. That betrayal is your confirmation. The enemy does not attack people who are going nowhere. The enemy attacks relationships to stop movement. The fact that the attacks are coming from inside your circle means you are terrifyingly close to your breakthrough. I want you to confuse the enemy right now. He thought that betrayal would break you, but it actually positioned you. Type 444 to claim your victory over every Judas who tried to stop your destiny. Show them that their plots only pushed you closer to God. You have to change your perspective immediately. Stop saying, I lost a friend. No, you didn't. You lost a leech. You lost a distraction. You lost a spy. God fired them from your life. He looked at your future. He looked at the battles you are about to fight, and he saw that this person was not qualified to stand next to you. They couldn't handle your next level, so he removed them at this level. Do not grieve the removal. Do not try to fix it. Do not send that long text message trying to get closure. The betrayal is the closure. The disrespect is the answer. They didn't leave you. They were evicted. The space they occupied is now open for the new people God is sending. People who will pray for you instead of prey on you. People who will speak life into you instead of gossip about you. You have been handed the gift of a clean slate. The Judas kiss has pushed you out of the garden of comfort and onto the road of purpose. Now that the tie is severed, you are free. But being free and being ready are two different things. Now that the people are gone, you have to deal with the habits they left behind. You have to take action. It is time to break the chains for good. Breaking the chains. Burning the ships. We have talked about the signs. We have talked about the betrayal. We have talked about why you need to leave. But now, we have to talk about how to leave. This is where most people fail. They leave physically, but they stay mentally. They walk out the door, but they leave the key under the mat, just in case. To truly step into your purpose, you cannot just close the door. You have to lock it, throw away the key, and then burn the bridge you just crossed. You have to adopt the burn the ships mentality. History tells us about commanders who would land their armies on enemy shores and immediately order their men to burn their own ships. Why? Because if the soldiers knew there was a ship waiting in the harbor, they would retreat the moment the battle got hard. Burning the ships sent a clear message. There is no plan B. There is no going back. We either win this battle or we die here. But we are not going home to the past. You need to have that same aggression regarding your spiritual transition. You cannot have a plan B. What does this look like in real life? It means you stop keeping that toxic ex's phone number just in case you get lonely. It means you stop stalking their social media profile to see if they are miserable without you. It means you stop keeping one foot in that dead-end job while half-heartedly praying for a new career. You are hedging your bets. You are telling God, I trust you, but I'm going to keep this safety net just in case you fail me. You cannot multitask your destiny. You cannot walk forward while looking backward. Look at the Israelites. They physically left Egypt, but mentally, they were still slaves. They carried the habits, the fears, and the appetites of Egypt into the wilderness. They kept talking about the onions and garlic of Egypt. They missed the comfort of their captivity, and because they couldn't let go of the past, an entire generation died in the wilderness. You cannot carry Egypt into your future. You cannot carry the trauma, the mindset, and the people of your past into your promised land. If you try to smuggle them in, you will pollute the new season God is giving you. The Bible gives us a terrifying warning in the story of Lot's wife. God sent angels to pull Lot and his family out of Sodom before he destroyed it. The instruction was simple: run for your life, do not look back. But Lot's wife did the one thing she was told not to do. She looked back, and instantly she turned into a pillar of salt. Why salt? Because salt is a preservative. It represents trying to preserve something that God has judged. She was trying to hold on to a life that God was destroying. When you look back at what you left when, you romanticize the toxic relationship. When you daydream about the good old days in that sinful environment, you are preserving what God is trying to kill. And just like Lot's wife, looking back will cost you your life. It will kill your momentum. It will paralyze you in a place of regret. You have to be ruthless right now. If you block them, keep them blocked. If you threw it away, don't dig it out of the trash. If you said goodbye, mean it. God is waiting for you to let go of the safety rail. He cannot catch you until you actually fall forward into faith. As long as you have a backup plan, you are not living by faith. You are living by fear. I want you to make a decision right now. Not a wish, but a decision. I want you to cut the cord. Go to the comments and make this declaration tangible. Type this out: I am burning the past. Let the enemy know you have no way to return. You have burned the ships. The only way you can go now is forward. But be warned, the moment you burn the ships, you enter the wilderness phase. It gets quiet, and that silence scares people more than the chaos ever did. The wilderness faces the silence before the boom. You did it. You burned the ships. You cut the ties. You walked away from the toxicity. You expected that the moment you obeyed God, the sky would open, the blessings would pour down, and everything would instantly become perfect. But that didn't happen, did it? Instead, everything went quiet. Dead quiet. The phone stopped ringing. The invitations stopped coming. The opportunities you thought would be waiting for you haven't shown up yet. You are standing in a hallway between two doors. The door you just locked behind you, and a door in front of you that hasn't opened yet. This is the wilderness phase, and honestly, this is the scariest part of the entire process. This is the moment where most people panic. You start looking around at your empty life, and you start doubting your decision. You think, did I hear God wrong? Did I make a mistake? Maybe I shouldn't have cut them off. At least when I was with them, I had something to do. Now, I have nothing. You feel exposed. You feel forgotten. I need you to stop that train of thought immediately. The silence is not a sign that God has abandoned you. The silence is a sign that God is preparing you. You have to understand the difference between how the world sees this and how a chosen one sees this. This is the us versus them mindset you must master. When the world sees you alone, they call it loneliness. They think you are unpopular. They think you are losing. They look at your life and think you have fallen off because you aren't at the parties or in the mix anymore. But the chosen one calls this consecration. You are not lonely. You are set apart. God had to isolate you to insulate you. Think about it. When you were surrounded by all those people, them, there was too much noise. You had their opinions, their fears, their drama, and their doubts constantly buzzing in your ears. God could not speak to you because the line was always busy. He tried to give you the strategy for your next level, but you were too distracted by the mess of your current level. So, he cleared the room. He muted the noise. He put you in the wilderness not to punish you, but to download the blueprint for your future without interference. This silence is the loading zone. When you download a massive file on a computer, everything else slows down. The system pauses so it can focus all its energy on receiving the data. That is what is happening to you. God is downloading the wisdom, the strength, and the strategy you will need to manage the blessing that is coming. If he gave you the blessing before the download was finished, you would crash. You would destroy the blessing because you wouldn't have the character or the wisdom to maintain it. Look at David in the Bible. Before he was King David living in the palace, he was just David the shepherd boy, alone in the field with the sheep. It was lonely. Nobody was clapping for him. Nobody was watching him. But it was in that silence, in that wilderness, that he learned how to fight lions and bears. It was in the dark that he developed the skills he would need in the spotlight. You are in your shepherd field right now. You are fighting battles nobody sees. You are praying prayers nobody hears. And that is exactly where you are supposed to be. Don't try to fill the silence with noise. Don't run back to the phone to call people who don't understand your journey just because you are bored. Embrace the quiet. Lean into it. This is the only time you will have this much access to God's ear before the floodgates open. The boom is coming. The explosion of favor is scheduled. But right now, you are in the calm before the storm. Do not waste this time feeling sorry for yourself. Use this time to sharpen your sword. You have survived the purge. You have survived the silence. You have proven that you can stand alone with God. And because you have done that, you are finally qualified to handle what comes next. You have survived the silence. Now you need to understand the power you just unlocked. Stop right here. If you are still watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, you need to ask your spirit, what is stopping you? Is it doubt? Or is it the old version of you trying to resist the new level? God doesn't guide you to a well just to let you die of thirst. Don't reject the resources heaven is handing you. Subscribe now. Align yourself with the voice that is feeding your destiny, because the world out there will only starve you. The power of your goodbye, reclaiming your territory. You have endured the signs. You have survived the betrayal. You have sat in the silence of the wilderness, and now you are standing here, perhaps feeling a little empty, wondering if you made the right choice. You might feel like you have lost something. But I am here to flip the script on you. You haven't lost anything. You have gained everything. We need to completely change how you view the word goodbye. In the world's eyes, the mensa, goodbye, looks like a failure. It looks like a breakup, a divorce, a firing, or a loss. They look at your empty hands and think you are poor. But in the kingdom, a goodbye is a power move. It is the ultimate declaration of faith. When you look at a situation that pays your bills but kills your spirit, and you say goodbye, you are telling God, I trust your provision more than this paycheck. When you look at a person who gives you temporary comfort but permanent pain, and you walk away, you are telling God, I value the destiny you have for me more than the history I have with them. That is power. That is reclaiming your territory. For too long, you have allowed fear to squat on the property of your mind. You allowed toxic people to live rent-free in your emotions. When you finally said goodbye, you evicted the squatters. You took back the mental energy that worry was stealing. You took back the emotional capacity that drama was draining. You didn't create an empty space. You created a vacuum for God's power to rush in. I want you to visualize this clearly. Imagine you are standing in front of God. God is holding a massive box wrapped in gold. It contains your purpose, your financial freedom, your peace, and your future spouse. It is the great thing He promised you. He wants to hand it to you. He is reaching out to give it to you. But He can't. Why? Because your hands are clenched tight. In one hand, you are gripping the good, the comfortable job, the familiar routine. In the other hand, you are gripping the bad, the pain, the guilt, the toxic relationship. Your hands are full of yesterday. You are begging God, Lord, bless me. Lord, give me the new thing. And God is saying, I'm trying to, but you have nowhere to put it. You cannot catch a diamond if you are holding onto a rock. You have to drop the rock. This is the divine exchange. You have to be willing to trade the good for the great. You have to be willing to trade the familiar for the phenomenal. The reason many chosen ones stay stuck at average is that they are too afraid to let go of good enough. They settle for a relationship that is okay and miss the one that is ordained. They settle for a career that is safe and miss the calling that is supernatural. The goodbye is the currency you pay to purchase your next level. So, look at your empty hands again. Do not cry over them. Open them wide. Stretch them out. That emptiness is not a void. It is capacity. You are finally open to receive. You are finally in a position where God can trust you with the upgrade because you proved you didn't idolize the past. You have done the hard work. You have cleared the debris. You have reclaimed your spiritual territory. Now you need to seal this transaction. You need to sign the receipt. I want you to make a declaration that shifts the atmosphere in your home right now. I want you to tell the universe that you are not looking back. Go to the comments and type this simple, powerful affirmation. I am ready to move on. Type it with conviction. I am ready to move on. Let that statement be the closing of the door on the past and the opening of the gate to your future. You are ready, but be careful, because just as you step across the threshold, the enemy is going to try one last tactic to scare you back. You need to know how to handle the warfare at the door. Warfare at the door, the final chest. You have made your decision. You have burned the ships. You have declared that you are ready to move on. You probably expected that once you made that declaration, the enemy would back off and let you go in peace. But if you are a true chosen one, you know that is not what happens. The moment you decide to leave your Egypt, Pharaoh gets in his chariot and starts chasing you. The moment you decide to level up, all hell breaks loose. This is the warfare at the door. You need to understand the timing of this attack. The enemy does not waste ammunition on people who are sitting still. If you were content to stay in your mess, the enemy would leave you alone because you were doing his job for him. But the second you packed your bags, you became a threat. You became a target. Just because you decided to leave doesn't mean the enemy will let you go easily. He is going to try to intimidate you back into your cage. This is where the us versus them dynamic gets intense. You are going to face resistance, and it's going to come from people you thought were on your team. You need to be spiritually aware of monitoring spirits. These are people who watch you not to celebrate you, but to find a reason to criticize you. They are scrolling through your life looking for a glitch. You will hear the chatter. People will start talking about you. They will say, "Oh, she thinks she's too good for us now. He's acting different. They've changed." They will call you arrogant. They will call you stuck up. They will say you forgot where you came from. Let me be very clear. Do not internalize their insecurity. When they say you've changed, take it as a compliment. You were supposed to change. Anything that doesn't change is dead. The fact that they are bothered by your growth proves that they are committed to their stagnation. They call it arrogance, but God calls it alignment. They are calling you arrogant because your confidence reflects their insecurity. Your light is disturbing their demons. When you level up, you force everyone around you to look in the mirror. And if they don't like what they see, they will try to break the mirror, which is you. Let's silence the chatter right now. If you are unbothered by the rumors because you know God is protecting your reputation, type 444 to confuse the monitoring spirits. Declare that their doubt is just fuel for your elevation. Here is your strategy for this final test. Ignore the noise. Do not stop to explain yourself. Do not lower your standard to address their rumors. Do not write a post defending your character. Silence is your greatest weapon right now. If you stop to throw stones at every dog that barks, you will never reach your destination. Their chatter is actually proof of your elevation. If you weren't making moves, they wouldn't be making noise. The resistance is confirmation that you are going the right way. Think about a plane taking off. The turbulence is strongest right as it breaks through the clouds. The resistance is greatest right at the threshold of the door. The closer you get to the breakthrough, the harder the battle becomes. If you are feeling heavy pressure right now, if it feels like people are coming for you from every angle, do not retreat. You are standing at the threshold. The enemy is throwing everything at you because he knows you are one step away from crossing a line he cannot cross. Push through the resistance. Push through the gossip. Push through the lies. You are not just fighting for a new job or a new relationship. You are fighting for your destiny. The door is unlocked. The handle is turning. Do not let the noise on the porch keep you from entering the house. You have fought too hard to turn back now. You have faced the signs, the betrayal, and the silence. You have faced the warfare at the door, and you are still standing. Now, there is only one thing left to do. It is time to walk in. It is time to enter your promise. A new beginning. Enter your promise. This is the moment you have been fighting for. Take a deep breath. Can you feel that? That is the feeling of the atmosphere shifting. You have pushed through the doubt. You have survived the betrayal. You have ignored the noise, and you have stepped across the threshold. Welcome to your new beginning. I want you to know right now, without a shadow of a doubt, that you made the right choice. I know it was painful. I know you bled to get here. But as you stand in this new place, you are going to realize that the price you paid was cheap compared to the reward you are about to receive. You are entering a season of unprecedented payback. The Bible says that God will restore the years the locusts have eaten. That means God is not just going to give you back what you lost. He's going to give you interest on your pain. He is calculating every tear, every sleepless night, and every betrayal, and he is converting it into blessing. What does this new season look like? First, you are going to experience a level of peace that surpasses all understanding. Remember that glitch we talked about earlier? That anxiety? It's gone. You are going to wake up in the morning without that heaviness in your chest. You are going to walk into rooms and feel a sense of belonging because you are finally in alignment with your purpose. You aren't walking on eggshells anymore. You are walking on solid ground. Second, God is sending you new alliances. This is the part I am most excited about for you. You are done with trauma bonds. You are done with people who only need you. God is sending you kingdom connections. These are people who are going the same direction as you. When you meet them, the Spirit will bear witness instantly. You won't have to force the conversation. You won't have to buy their loyalty. They will celebrate your wins because they aren't threatened by your light. You are about to meet the partners, the mentors, and the friends who were assigned to your destiny before you were even born. Third, watch for the abundance. The flow is coming back. The favor is coming back. The ideas that were blocked in the wilderness are going to start flowing like a river. Financial doors that were welded shut are going to swing open on their own hinges. Why? Because you can be trusted now. God knows that if He blesses you, you won't use the blessing to build a golden calf in Egypt. You will use it to build the kingdom. You have broken the cycle. Think about that. You might be the first person in your bloodline to actually walk away from dysfunction. You are the cycle breaker because you had the courage to say goodbye. Your children and your children's children will walk in a freedom they didn't have to fight for. So, here is my final charge to you. Do not look back. There is nothing behind you but ash and dust. There is nothing in the past for you anymore. If you look back, you disrespect the future God has prepared. Walk into this new season with your head high. You didn't escape by luck. You escaped by faith. You have said your goodbyes. The chains are broken. The eviction notice has been served, and you have moved out. You are free. Now, claim it. Seal this word in your spirit. I want you to type this final affirmation in the comments as a prophetic act. Let the algorithm know, let the world know, and let the enemy know that you have crossed over. Comment below. I am ready for my new season. And one last thing, chosen one. The fact that you made it to the very end of this message is not a coincidence. It is a confirmation. Your spirit is starving for this truth. Don't treat this like fast food where you just eat and run. Subscribe and plant yourself here. Your next breakthrough is likely waiting in the very next video I post. Don't walk away 5 minutes before your miracle happens. Join the family. This is your time. You are ready for the next chapter. Trust the journey.